Hello and a very warm welcome to our 12th webinar series that gives you with actionable insights and energy to lead at your very best in this crisis. One of them produced the most enjoyed music ever. The musicians had to listen to each other, really play together and unleash wonderful music. And that, of course, is a metaphor for collective intelligence in the business, and detect and exploit metaphor as you unleash collective intelligence with your team. And by metaphor, I mean, for instance, saying the world is melting. And Kunappiwut is a man of many lives, one that I admire deeply. He's obviously a business person. He's a leading leadership coach, and he's also an avid football player. And that is part of the charm of inviting Kunappiwut today to the show, in fact. What have you learned playing football that can be applied to the field of leadership in the business world?
I believe that the behavior of leaders have impact on the moral of the team members. Ronaldo and Messi are leaders in two different teams, and we can take a look at their leadership practice as an example. From my observation, both Ronaldo and Messi share a similarity in that they don't scold their team players and blaming when team are in difficult situation. But the difference between Ronaldo and Messi is that when Ronaldo's team losses, we can notice that he encourages, motivates, advise his team on how to play better. But when Messi team losses, we can see that he explicitly shows his disappointment by signing or shaking his head or even kneeling down in the field sometimes. So even though Messi doesn't score his team when things gets worse, but how he demonstrates his behavior impacting the moral of the team. So in many companies choose to promote the highest performing individual, but fail to consider his or her people skill. So many times we will see that many high performing employees become poor leaders because they lack of people skill.
And now I would like to share with you 6 tips that will help you catalyze collective intelligence in your team and enhance their collaboration and agility. And the first one seems very simple, but I'll be very concrete about how you can really make it happen. And it's about making brainstorming safe and collaborative. So something I want to invite you to do, and it's great fun and super helpful, is actually play a game from improv comedy. And it's the yes and game. Yes and is a very collaborative approach, in fact. And the secret to their great teamwork is in the video I'm going to show you.
We all have sort of distinct personalities and distinct musical personalities, and I think that keeps it interesting for our fans.
I think we're playing and we're performing much better these days than we did in the 70s.
There's more nuance, there's more listening to each other on stage going on now than there was when we played in the 70s.
Give time to every team member to put together her and his ideas about potential solution for the problem. So they do that separately for a few minutes or even more if necessary. And then only then do they come together to think how they're going to solve the problem, right? So that avoids the risk of groupthink, which tends to align too quickly people's way of thinking about a problem. And I'm going to experiment with you live by showing you this picture and asking you the question. Let this picture inspire you one idea that can help you strengthen your business during this crisis. And then please write it in our chat box. Now, there is silver. And silver is going to be for the person who, in addition, brings others' best. And then there is gold. And gold is going to go to the person who brings his or her own best and also works out how to help others play at their best. And in addition, help the team performs at its best by, for example, observing that the dynamic is not quite right. Perhaps some people are silent, or there is an elephant in the room that nobody is talking about, and yet we need to talk about it, right? And then there is platinum in this special game, and that is for the person who, in addition, will have at heart and in mind the organization's best interest, right? So to me, an agile leader is someone who is an eager learner, keen to experiment, comfortable not knowing, learning from mistakes, versatile thinker, thinking from different perspectives, and a courageous decision maker, because we've got to move, right? Agility implies sufficient speed for progress, right? And
leaders should always celebrate small successes along the way. For example, when football teams compete, they don't wait until the end of the game to celebrate a victory. But every time someone in the team scores, you can see they celebrate this small success.
First, make brainstorming safe and collaborative, and then highlight team members' unique talents and make them shine along those sessions where you catalyze collective intelligence of your team, and then define the problem you're trying to solve in different ways, as we've explained before, right? And then activate right brains that will inject so much creativity in your teamwork. Stand up and move, especially when you get stuck, and then magically new ideas will pop up in your brains, right? And you can do that face to face, and you can do that remotely just the same. And eventually, let fears and unmet needs be heard in this crisis time and transform them into actionable insights. And keep in mind that we can all be better team players along these medals of increasing values, right, for collaborative behaviors. And then also we can always be more agile as leaders by doing more of these different behaviors or features that I've put together to the bottom right of the slide. And it's a good thing to discuss with your team members how they can take their act to the next level in terms of being collaborative and being agile. Great leadership, great rewards. What's up next? Next week, Thursday, 3rd of September, at the very same time, I have the joy of inviting a very special guest, Nanong Chalin, who is a VP People at Tokopedia, to join us and talk about motivating teams in times of crisis. Tokopedia, you know, is an outstanding company, sometimes called the Amazon of Indonesia. Fast